Nice.
Good morning. Good morning. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Cash Physical Therapy Headquarters podcast. Today, we're talking about local leverage, how cash physical therapists build powerful referral networks. Let me get this live in the group. Beauty. So what inspired this episode was a fan of the podcast who's been listening to every single episode to get her practice off the ground. She just joined our mentorship program, the book partnership program, yesterday. And one of the things that she asked about was, how do I effectively network my practice? She's doing all the outreach. She's reaching out to one person or one business every single week. But after she has that touch point and it goes really well, she had no clue, like, what should she do to progress that relationship and turn that into workshops and referrals? Like, what's step 2, 3, and 4 of this? So Ben and I are going to break down that entire process in detail and cover a couple different points. Why most PTs network the wrong way and what you should be doing instead. The 3 types of local partners every cash PT should connect with. How to position your clinic as a go-to referral partner in your community. Conversation starters and scripts to make reaching out a hell of a lot easier and more successful, and how to turn one-off referral relationships into long-term relationships and partnerships. Ben, how you feeling today, dude?
Doing good. I'm excited about talking about this one. I mean, this is really what got ProKinetics started from the get-go and what it was built on in the first year, and has led for a good foundation to where we're at today. So it's a really important piece, especially for people that are just starting.
100%. Now, Ben and I, we are about to head out to Santa Monica, California, because we have one of our live in-person events where we're going to have an intimate mastermind with 30 different practice owners on how to effectively scale and increase the enterprise value of their practices. So we're going to keep this one tight and short. So pull out your notebooks, take notes, listen to this one again, share it with a friend, subscribe to the podcast. Let's get into it. So let's start with why most PTs network the wrong way and what to do instead. This one's kind of a no-brainer for us. We've talked about this a lot, but a lot of folks, just because of the nerves of networking and reaching out to people, they forget that people are just human. Okay, whether they run a business, no matter how successful, like, they're just people. And you turn into a robot or a spokesperson rather than just approaching these connections the same way you would treat, like, maybe not a Tinder date, but like an actual first date in a relationship that you're trying to turn into a long-term thing. So Ben, how would you describe the biggest mistake the new PTs that are new to the networking game are getting wrong?
I think a big thing is, like, I kind of psyched myself out, and it's because I was a new business owner. I was like putting these business owners like on a pedestal. And now that I've seen like the inner work, there's some of them that aren't even in business anymore. And so like I put these people on like a pedestal, and as I got to like further along in business, I'm like, these people are not anything special, and come to find out a lot of them probably shouldn't even be in business. Right. So first of all, stop putting them on a pedestal that they know all this stuff, like they have this super successful business. Like, you don't know what's under the hood of it. And looking back, I'm like, I should have never been nervous to talk to these people. Now that I know, right? But at the same time, you don't want to so just like don't psych yourself out about it and who they are.
Totally agree. Like, we work with businesses doing, 50, 60, 100K a month who come to us completely lost, stuck. They're not profitable, but they're working 10 times harder than a business doing $20,000 a month, but have a healthy profit margin, and they're making like less. And so, as you said, you never know what's under the hood. We don't feel intimidated, because although they might seem like they have this really amazing business, and they might actually just realize that nobody, no matter what stage you're at, is better or smarter or more talented than you necessarily. They're just a few steps ahead of where you're at. And so in your mind, obviously, show respect. Sometimes it can be beneficial to you to kind of treat them and put them up on a pedestal. But at the same time, like, at the end of the day, you are on an equal playing field, and you got to treat it like they might be ahead, but in your mind, in your heart, and your soul, like, they're only ahead for a little bit, for a little while. It's just temporary. And so don't be shy. Now, when you are doing this, also, like, don't go in there promoting yourself. Don't be a door-to-door salesperson where you're just dropping off flyers and brochures and talking about yourself. Just like when you go on a first date with someone that you're really interested in, you don't just sit there and talk about yourself, right? And if you do, I bet you're single as hell. Okay, you got to go into that relationship curious about the other person. What are their goals? What are they trying to do? How can I support you or encourage you, and be that kind of that like that person that is trying to support them that they likely don't really have in their life, because every business owner is desperate for other business owners who want to support them. That's what everybody wants. Be that person. So Ben, tactically,
And that's exactly it. It's like I know, especially when you're starting your business, you want to start up new patients as fast as possible, but you'll be shooting yourself in the foot if you go too aggressive with it and just start asking for referrals right out of the gate, stuff like that. This is something that you want to play the long-term game with. It's not something to rush, and that's something I wish I could go back and tell myself on. There are some relationships that will go really quickly and they will start referring people after that first meeting, but it's very few and far between. And those will just happen organically. Anyways, so you don't need to
keep rolling with the dating analogy. A lot of the people who are just ready right out of the gate, those are kind of like one night stands. Like, you might get in the door, you might get something out of it, but usually that's not going to turn into a long-term relationship. It's just going to be something that fizzles out. And therefore, it's like maybe you get some cash flow now, but it's like you lost out on this massive like long-term game if you would have taken the time to develop the relationship first, because now it can be something that's more consistent. And a lot of people struggle in their organic marketing approach because they're doing all of these one-off promotions with folks, which requires you to constantly be in a state of hustle to find new relationships. And then you reach the ceiling really quick. Whereas if you just took the time to build the relationship, to earn the referrals and to earn the workshops, well, now you have a deeper connection that yields better long-term results that require less effort to maintain.
Right. Yeah. It's just a snowball effect is what it comes down to. With it. And and so I think it just main thing is don't rush it. Don't put them on a pedestal. Don't be intimidated, but still be respectful, obviously, with them as well.
And it's okay to have imposter syndrome and be like nervous. Everyone's nervous, no matter what level you're at, unless you're doing it all day, every day. It's like if you go like 2 months without doing networking, you're gonna have nerves before you go in there. That's perfectly fine. It's healthy. It's normal. Don't let that be an obstacle or a barrier to you to getting started. Now, the next point is the 3 types of local partners every cash PT should be connecting with. Now, there's a lot of you who are putting a lot of energy into these low upside types of referral partnerships. Like, running stores can be great, but it's like if you compare a running store with a runner club, it's like there's going to be very different returns and potential long-term, upside to those relationships. So when we build our Dream 100 list, the list of the 100 most likely people to refer to us, we got to make sure that we organize those based off of referral potential. Okay. And organize them by like, if this business started referring me to their entire contact list tomorrow, who would have the biggest impact on your business, and then prioritize them from biggest potential to lowest potential. And then focus the vast majority of your attention and time to the ones that would have the biggest impact.
Yeah, you want to be strategic about it too. Like, what's the lowest hanging fruit for these relationships? Like, who has your ideal avatar? Like, I always went to the gyms, like did workshops at gyms, but eventually I've tapped out of all the gyms because I've already connected with them. Now I started doing like yoga studios, right? And so you don't want to wouldn't have been smart for me to start out with yoga studios, because that's not like my bread and butter is more gyms, right? So just make sure that you were focusing on like, hey, what avenue is going to produce my ideal patient versus like, I don't know, if you specialize in runners, focus on the running stores, running clubs, attending running events on the weekends. Then you can move into like gyms, right? So just really figure out, where does my ideal client hang out at?
Right. A good way to think about that is, who are you? Because if you match the clientele of the person you're networking with, the odds of them wanting to work with you is obviously significantly higher, and you can become a customer before you ask for a referral, which is a great first start. Because who do business owners want to help more than anyone other than their families? Their customers. So if you can become a customer first, it's going to be a hell of a lot easier. So start out with like, who are you? Who's your most perfect person? And then you can, once you have momentum in that area, then you can start finding those like tangential markets to start working with. So there's three primary markets that we found to be the most lucrative and long-term for referral relationships, for workshops, all that good stuff. Those are fitness studios, so gyms, yoga studios, even runner clubs. I would put into that bucket. Then the other two are direct primary care physicians who are charging cash, who are obviously incentivized to want to promote other cash pay services, and they obviously have a patient base that's already interested and sees the value in investing cash. The last one is functional medicine providers. Okay, again, they have the most health conscious people, and that industry is exploding. So they have a constant supply of new people looking to not just fix current symptoms that they're dealing with, but also protect their long term health. So your perfect clients. Those are the three top types of businesses that you should be targeting and focusing your networking efforts on. Anything to add to that, Ben?
No, I mean, yeah, functional medicine is great and something we're making a push towards networking wise. They're already raising their hand that they are willing to pay out of pocket for health services and
Right.
also pay top dollar for them. So, and the thing too is your functional medicine providers are also very like-minded people.
Yep.
They don't want to be referring to in-network clinics.
Yep.
So it's an easy way there. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Now, the next point is how to position your clinic as a go-to referral partner in your community. We kind of dabbled on this particular subject with the first point, but Ben, like, how do you become the go-to person that everyone just wants to help?
Yeah, I mean, by helping them first, that's the big thing is people want like, hey, what is the perfect email script that I can send out to people, or what is the best text I can send, or how do I give them a call and how do I have that conversation? The best way and most fruitful is just becoming a client of theirs, like going to the gym and working out there.
Right.
Like it does take time. It does take money. It does take it does take time. It does take some money for like to be a member. But by becoming a member, like it just helps that relationship be much more organic and that foundation is so much stronger.
Yeah.
And so becoming a client first and foremost, like if you're really pressed from time, you can send out emails. It's awkward. The response rate, no matter how perfectly it's crafted, the response rate isn't great. It's not going to nearly perform as well as you just going in and being a member or a client of theirs first. And especially like I don't know in Oakland, I not burned some bridges, but kind of I had my at bat through emails,
Yeah.
and I kind of wasted that approach or that attempt because I sent out an email first. Then you go in there and it's just and then like if you go in there and follow up in person, like it's always so awkward. Like I know you ignored my email. They know that I know they ignored my email. You walk in there, it's just an awkward conversation,
Right.
right?
Did you get those
And
10 emails I sent you over the last 2 months? Yeah.
like, how do you expect that to go? So like you don't want to waste an at bat with an email. Like we do have scripts like in our training, adamant about doing that and will not, no matter what, step in person. Then do it. But it's you're wasting an at bat, and especially in a small community. Like Oakland is a big city, and eventually we ran out of gyms to network with, right? And I wish there was a handful I wish I could have got back that I wouldn't send emails to, because I eventually would have had time
Right.
to do
Being
it, right? So especially when you're small, it's an email.
right. It's the difference between like being a mosquito versus being like the dog that everyone wants to pet. Like being the mosquito, you might get some blood, but odds are you're gonna get smashed or swatted away. Be
Yep.
the dog that everyone's like interested in having a conversation with, that they want to support, that makes their day a little bit better. So when you're initially like reaching out to people, like it needs to be like, hey, this, centered around their goals. So first, give more than you take. Let the law of reciprocity serve you, because it's a very real thing. Read the book Influence. It is fascinating. So go in there, become a customer, and find a time to attend the classes or sessions with the person who's the ultimate decision maker in the class. If it's a gym, go to their website, find a time where the owner, the head coach, is actually teaching a class and doesn't have a class immediately afterwards. Most of them post their schedule. If they don't have a class afterwards, that means they have time to talk. And so go in there, introduce yourself, talk to them about like what their goals are, what kind of issues there, and how you could potentially, serve them and their community. But don't pitch them on anything. Let them tell you what it is that they want. A really good approach, especially if you're young, new to entrepreneurship, is go in there and ask for advice. Like, hey, like I love this community. I've been coming here for a couple weeks. I'd love to get more involved. But I know like a lot of physical therapists, are probably hitting you up every single month. You're probably already even working with one. So hypothetically, if someone like me who's new to this game that wanted to partner with someone like you, like what would be the best approach to do that? And let them tell you exactly what to do in order to earn their respect. Because once you actually do that, they're going to feel inclined to actually give you what you ask for.
Yeah, all that. Especially like, it goes a long ways with people that have been, not even really people that have been in business long, but they know like what the feeling was like just starting out,
Right.
and they respect that you're asking
Right.
for that help. And people want to mentor, like it makes people feel good doing so too. Like I get a lot of fulfillment out of coaching and mentoring other clinic owners. So like I know the feeling. It feels great
Right.
to help other people, and they want to do the same thing, especially because they know how tough it is starting out.
Yeah. When I ran my software company, Health Snaps, which is like a patient experience software, when we're raising investment, one of the best pieces of advice I ever got that has served me very well in building Clinical Marketer was, if you go into an investor's office and ask for money, you're going to get advice. But if you go into an investor's office and ask for advice, you're going to get paid twice. And so it applies perfectly to building these relationships. If you go in there and ask for referrals, you'll either get ignored or maybe you'll get some advice. But if you go in there and ask for advice, they'll tell you exactly what you need to do to get paid.
Exactly.
Yep,
It's a win-win.
exactly.
Can't
So
lose.
how do we actually start these conversations? Like how, when you, and I know Michelle Moore just created this entire course for our book partnership members, but for you, Ben, when you were building these initial touch points with people, what did that look like?
Yeah. So the best way to go about it, like I'll talk about what I did and then talk about what works. Right. So I would just go in, like, first of all, was like, I was just trying to find a space to treat in. Like, hey, pretty much more or less, hey, I'm a physical therapist. I need to be somewhere to treat patients. Do you have space? Right. Not a great way to go about it. Right. You live and you learn with that. So, but yeah, the best way is like we said, go in and become like a person in their community. And then once you like are able to talk with them, I also like to state that, hey, this is the type of people that I work with. I popped in here to really kind of go undercover to learn more about this community and what it's like. And I love this community. I love X, Y, and Z. Highlight the exact specific things that you like, and be like, I've got a lot of clients that I think would be a good fit. I just wanted to learn more about your ideal clientele that you enjoy working with, and that would be the best fit for your business. And again, I have a pretty good idea from being a part of it, but just for future reference for future patients, I let them know, like, I also try and speak their language and state that the best thing that my patients can do is keep exercising while going through the rehab process. I'm planting that seed because they don't want to, like, so many gym owners do not refer out because so many physicians and physical therapists will just tell people to stop working out. Right. So I'm planting that seed that, hey, I'm looking for a gym to send my clients to so they can continue to work out during their injury. Right. And so now I'm positioned like, hey, I'm leading with value here. I do truly want to send potential referrals here and know that they're in good hands. Right. Tell me more about the types of people that you really, really enjoy working with and are trying to mold here within that community. And then I just leave it at that. I don't pitch anything. I'm like, great, sounds great. I leave it at that. And then a lot of times people will, again, reciprocity, they will ask in return more about you, and that conversation will go. If they don't ask anything after that, I don't ask for anything. I was like, great, sounds good. Got that information. See you next week during
Yep.
class or during next
Yep.
workout. Leave it at that. And then they just realize, hey, that was true authenticity. And I was being authentic the entire time about sending people their way. Then do send a referral, follow through on that. Also, when you're at class, post on social media, tag them,
Mhm.
add them as a
Yep.
collaborator. Like that goes a long ways too. And then now you're starting to get
Right.
some eyeballs on your stuff from that community. So again, it's just leading with value, and eventually that conversation will come around. But that's initially what to start with, and I'll have you ask whatever question you want on that or follow up
No,
on that. But
I want to
we'll talk
throw
about
throw
whatever.
some ideas on you that I thought about after the gym today. Because the whole key to building relationships when you know they're getting bombarded by other people doing it is having some sort of pattern interrupt that makes you stand out, that makes you interesting and worth having a conversation with.
Mhm.
And if you can do that through the form of giving, it's always going to work better. And so one of the things that I did that got me to my first like $10,000-$20,000 months was networking with another coach in the industry, a guy named Greg Todd. And I knew that as someone who helped practice with ads, if I just went and talked to him about it, he would have said no. And so what I did instead was I attended one of his events, and I put up a webpage called idon'thategregtodd.com. And then every relationship that I built with people at that event, I told them basically, it's like, hey, if, unless you hate Greg Todd, you'd be willing to record him a video testimonial and say, like, thank you for the impact that he just had for you at this event. And I collected like 50 to 100 video testimonials from people. And he didn't know any of this was going on. And then I took all those video testimonials and I gave it to him to promote his next event and just said, thank you for such a great event. If there's anything I can do to serve you, let me know. And that huge impact. He ended up having me like coach his mastermind on how to build relationships just based off of that. And so for a gym, this might be going a little far, but if you attend a group class, let me know what you think of this, Ben. Attend a group class and attend like a couple of them, build some relationships with people, record your own video testimonial of your experience, and then ask some of the folks, let them know. It's like, hey, I'm a physical therapist in town and I want to give a gift to the owner of this place. Would you be willing to take a minute and record a video testimonial of your experience at this gym? Collect like 5 of them. But if you give them assets they can use in their own marketing, like, do you think anyone else has ever done that for them? No. And it does not take a lot of effort. You don't have to put up like a web page like I did, but they're going to feel that they're at least going to take a meeting with you. What do you think of that, Ben?
Mhm. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah, I mean, no, that's the thing too, is it's tougher in the cash based world now to make relationships than it was when I started. There's like you mentioned earlier in this podcast, there's probably other PTs that they already have that have already stopped by, and probably 1 or 2 that they're already working with. And so, like you said, I think that's a great pattern interrupt and something that goes a long ways, because we get a lot of clients like, yeah, I've stopped in, they're already working with the PT, right? So
There, I got
that's a
one
great
more
pattern.
for you. This one's a little extra, but it's still cheap. You ready? This is my my pre-workout brain just humming. So all right. So one of my favorite Dream 100 strategies is lumpy mail, which is basically just like a package, because any owner, any letters that they get, they're going to have their admin or someone else open and take a look at. But if they get an interesting looking package, everyone loves the dopamine hit of getting an unexpected package. They want to open it and see what is actually in there. And so I thought a really cool idea would be to, one, become a client of theirs, have a letter in this box that says, hey, I'm a physical therapist in town. I've been attending like your classes every Monday. Absolutely love the experience. I got something for you. I thought you'd enjoy. And inside the box, you have 2 things. You have a combination lockbox that's in it, $30 off of Amazon. And then you have another, or not a combination lockbox, but like a regular key lockbox, and then a combination lockbox, and again, $15 off of Amazon, that has the key to that other lockbox in it. And in order to figure out the code to that, there's a little quiz that like a multiple choice quiz that they have to get correct to solve the code. And the quiz would be things that they probably don't know that cause the most common injuries in their gym. So question number one is do gyms miss out on revenue when their clients get injured or hurt? Yes or no? And then there'd be a number value for each of those answers. The correct answer is the first digit to that combination lock. The other one is the most common way people injure their back when they're squatting is X, Y, and Z. Each of them have a number value. Once they figure out all the correct answers to that, also building the gap between their understanding of how to keep their clients healthy, they get the combination, they open it up, they had a good time, they learned about it, you built the gap, and then inside of there is a request to have a meeting, as well as 2 vouchers for the owner and one of their trainers to get a free evaluation with you. What do you think of that? I mean, that's elaborate as hell, but what do you think?
That's a way to stand
That'd be
out.
so fun. I would love that if someone did that for me. Just got to get to solve a puzzle in the first day to figure out what's inside this little like chest.
Yeah.
And then they get to keep both of those things,
like it,
right?
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it. And I like what the call to action is too, is the free eval. And that's something I wanted to talk about today too, was the best way to get people to buy in is that come in for a free evaluation so they can actually see what you do. And the referrals are also going to be better that they send to, because they're also going to get that person contact.
Right.
So yeah,
have fun with it. Be interesting. Look at their owners, like Instagram, their Facebook, see what their interests are. Put like a coffee mug from the college they went to inside of the lockbox along with those things. Like you have fun with it, because it makes you interesting. It makes people excited to talk to you, because like, who does stuff like that? So immediately you're the dog that everyone wants to pet, rather than the pesky mosquito that's just annoying the shit out of you, just trying to sap blood out of your business. So have fun with it. There's a million different ways you can do this. Go to Chat GPT, punch out some idea, ask it for some cheap ideas that you can do to stand out and build a fun relationship right from the get-go. Those are just my post-gym ramblings of ideas I wanted to throw out there. One last thing that nobody thinks about, one of the most powerful strategies you can do with networking and doing workshops for your clinic, is how do we turn one-off referrals into long-term relationships? Ben, you kind of pioneered this strategy, so I won't steal your thunder. Like, once you do like a patient-focused workshop, what's the next step that you can take to make sure that relationship continues to develop and grow?
Yeah, so I could keep gym owners. I don't want to talk shit about gym owners. They're highly unorganized. And so what I like to do is get a quarterly schedule of workshops set up after that first one. Like, strike while the iron's hot. What I see most people do incorrectly is they do a workshop, they let 2 or 3 weeks go by, and they're like, oh, I want to set up another one. And it's just the organization to get that going is just is rough. So strike while the iron's hot, set up on a quarterly basis workshops. We find that that's just the best. That's a really good cadence. Also, doing workshops for the trainers. Like, if it's a gym, doing a workshop for the trainers, that's that much more. It's evergreen, because it's, again, relationships that you're building with the trainers, and you're positioned as an authority figure, and they're in front of your ideal clients day in and day out. Versus if you just do a one-off workshop on a weekend, that's a one-time thing.
Build it back up.
This is a relationship. Exactly. So I also like to do quarterly workshops for their trainers on how to identify, hey, is this an injury that needs to be, here's how to test, do some basic orthopedic testing to figure out, hey, is this something that needs to be concerned about, that you need to refer out to, or here's some quick things that you can do to help prevent, stuff like that. So that goes a long ways with that relationship too. And again, you're just building value with the gym owner, and that's a great step to take, is do workshops with their trainers before doing a workshop for their members. People are just hesitant to let anybody in front of their members, and so they're a little bit less hesitant to do that with trainers, especially if it's more of a con ed type situation. And then they get insight into you by doing that con ed, and they feel much more open to you doing a workshop in front of their members, because they already know who you are and what your methodology is and your thought process is. Too. And then make sure that you're sending referrals to them as well. And then anybody that they send referrals to, if they send anybody to you, make sure that you're giving them like weekly or bi-weekly updates about how they're progressing. It just keeps that open communication.
100%. 100%. So always schedule the next one. I think it's a really good idea to alternate sometimes between like, hey, I just did a workshop on squat mechanics, invite the trainers to be a part of it. Then afterwards offer the trainers and the owner like, hey, like, would it be valuable for me to come in and do a workshop specifically for your trainers on how to prevent and identify when like intervention with the physical therapist is actually required for this sorts of thing, and help them invest in their skill set. Because once you win over the coaches, that's a much more consistent referral source because they're working with the clients every single day. They're the first people to recognize, besides the client, when someone is injured and when they need help. And so train them, invest in them, give them time, and you'll get way more steady referrals. And once the relationship is strong enough, well, then you can talk about an integrated offer where when ever they sign a new client, a part of their welcome package includes some sort of special co-branded voucher with your name on it with $100 credit to be used on their first evaluation with you. That's kind of like the value ladder. First, become a client, get the meeting, get the workshop, train the team, integrated offer. That's kind of the progression that you want to get to. Integrated offers basically when you take it from just dating to now we're in an actual relationship. That's the goal you want to get to.
No.
Heck yeah. Guys, if you got value out of this episode today, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast with someone who you think would benefit from it, and save it for later. We covered a lot of stuff. If you have questions on this, drop it in the comments. And if you're interested in learning how to effectively grow and scale your cash physical therapy clinic, go to clinicalmarketer.com and book a time to figure out what it would look like for Ben and I to help you not only scale your practice with paid advertising, but also grow your organic marketing, improve your sales, and develop the skills required to be a successful cash practice owner. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.